Assalamu alaikum class, and today our lecture is about the thread handler and asynchronous tasks. Uh, Thread is one of the most important topic of any operating system, whether it is a mobile or a desktop. However, handheld devices have a limited RAM, so it is very important to schedule the task properly as it may crash operating system or hang the applications. If one thread is interacting with a user interface component, other thread can't update the user interface and throws encryption that is and as the user interface component, for example, I'm saying that one thread is interacting with the user interface component, then other thread can't update the user interface and throws the exceptions that is only created threads can interact with the user interface. Okay, thread can be interrupts or join threads can't be stopped. Okay, now in this slide we are seeing that there are two ways to run a thread. First one is write all the codes in run function or run method, and when we call start on the thread object, thread start executing. Okay, other way is to use a runnable method, takes times and called start on its object to start. There are basically two types of thread. One is a user interface thread and other one is background thread. Usually long running tasks are executed on background thread because a user interface thread make user interface user responsive. If we execute a long running task on user interface thread, then it will wait for 5 seconds and will give user a UI unresponsive. Okay, dialog and apps will crash and perform all tasks on background when data get processed. Then it is called run on UI thread method and update the UI component there. Okay, now in this slide you are seeing types of background thread. Further, there are three types. First is handler, then thread, and then asynchronous task. All three are type of background thread. Okay. In this slide, you are seeing that handler is added as a part of current running thread and added as a queue to the current running thread. It also delivers message to the thread by providing time when it will be executed. Okay. Now in this slide, its basic purpose is to run tasks after some time. Example of it can be splash screen that get closes and open a new task after 3 to 4 seconds. Thread is a simple background thread. Okay. Now in this slide, asynchronous task, it is created on a UI thread by executed on a background. It is one of the most important class to handle background tasks and heavy processes like downloading images, music or compressing images, etc. It takes three type of parameters, that is parameter sent to a task, URL progress, and that is time required to download or execute task, and third type of the result is the asynchronous task that will produce. Now we are going to the four steps of asynchronous task And four overridden method of the asynchronous task are seen in the slide. First is on pre-execute is called before starting the thread so that anyone can execute UI like start progress bar. Then do in background. Start execute task on the background like call network request or task. Third is on progress update is used to check the progress of task. And fourth is on post execute is called after task is finished. Okay, now let's jump to the code in the next lecture. And till then, Allah Hafiz. And if there are any queries, do ask to me. Okay, thank you, class.